Further evidence that Kenny Veach committed suicide, that he likely did. Now, some of this is going to be like what I or others would do in preparing for a big hike where he said he was going to go to the north forever and stay a couple days. Some reports, well, it was overnight. Next report says it was 4 days. And not to suspect him missing until like 5 days because he was just going to go forever, up, over, and cross over all the mountains. Okay, now let's look at what occurred. That here's this big trip occurring the next day. Okay, now, could Kenny Veach have prepared beforehand, preparing food, loaded up his backpack, and done it, the day before, and then goes out to do the movie? No, he wouldn't do that. He hardly took anything with him to begin with. But he could have done it. He could have done it. Okay, so before Big Hike, for anybody, back when I was doing it, I'm not now, but I would go on total lockdown, start preparing, and depending on where I was going, sleep possibly during the day, get up, go 1 in the morning wherever. Sometimes I would, drive. I had to drive a couple hundred miles away. But people prepare for this big hike that he talked about. People prepare. Now, is it possible that, since he didn't plan well, that he just simply gets up, throws in a bottle of water and a cupcake, goes driving up to do this 3-4 day hike? It's not impossible. But now let's look at this. The night before, they go to the movie, like down here at the theater. Okay, now it's 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock, relatively late. He works his way up and goes home. So you're looking at unwind, fall asleep. He would have fallen asleep maybe midnight. Okay, but he gets up a few hours later for this big hike. Now, I don't know when he started out. He could have went up at 2 in the afternoon. But he gets up for this big hike, and with no preparation, after they say their goodbyes, this is it, I'm going to go up and kill myself, you'll never find me. They say their goodbyes with the shocking hug that she knew something was severely wrong. Okay, so now it's midnight. We'll assume he fell asleep. He wakes up, 5 in the morning? Gets ready for this big hike. Now wakes up, goes this distance, drives this distance up for this big hike. I'm going to go forever. If I don't find that mcave, I'm going to just keep going north forever. Okay, so he arrives here at the parking. So he arrives here at the parking. Now at this time it would be morning. He hikes up, leaves his cell phone, showing like he went off the deep end. There is no 4-day hike. I'm not going to go for miles to the north over all the mountaintops. I'm just going to keep going forever. Leaves his cell phone and then comes up missing. So for this big hike, which would require, at that time, he would have had to have a sleeping bag, if not a tent, and food and water for 3 or 4 days. And yet, while preparing for this, that a few hours before, he's down at a movie to say his final goodbyes. Goes to the movie, goes back home, and yet does all this. And I'm going to go up for 40 miles and just keep going forever. No, I'm telling you, that guy, he may have had his backpack on him and his gun. But what? Supplies for days? That I'm going to go forever? I'm just going to keep going to the north with no mention of returning back. And she says, you're not going to pull a Kenny Veach on me, are you? Okay, that was a joke. You're not going to pull a Robin Williams on me, are you? So the discussion was very focused on suicide. Sure enough, he goes up and turns up missing. He didn't do any preparation for no 3-4 day hike. I'm going to just go forever. I'm going to just keep going forever to the north, over all the mountaintops, if I don't find the mcave. It doesn't make sense. But he could have got up. But remember, he was hiking for 20 years. It's not like he was some kind of idiot that goes up there, no backpack, maybe a fanny pack. I'm going to go for 4 days. And he could have jumped in the vehicle, went up there, and went to his death with no supplies. But I don't believe it. I think it was intentional suicide.